All right, you silly, speedy sausages. We've got our quick version here of the buy, hold, sell. It's mainly looking at the players that you potentially be looking to purchase this week. There's a bunch of guys that are out long term. Make sure you sell them. Sean Johnson, I've got as a hold. Anyone who's out 1 week, Manu, Plath, these types of guys, holds as well, along with Trey Fuller, who I haven't got in this video. Also, forgot to mention, and thank you to guys that pointed out in the comments, in my Origin potential likelihood selections video, I missed out on talking about Jaden Sewer. I was going through the availability list, and obviously he's on a bye this week. He potentially becomes that guy that either starts or off the bench for Queensland. They'll definitely pick Nanai. He's been so killer for Billy Slater. And then for the wing, for the Blues, I forgot to talk about Lomax and also Suoli'i, who are both options, potential options to play as well, who have a bit of a chance. Anyway, also forgot in the big video to talk about Cheapies Paul. At 650, higher break even. Yes, you'll lose money, but I think you just have to hold him. With his edge availability for round 13 and unlikely to be seeing Crichton in our teams, I think we have to hold. But I do understand selling if you have a lot of trades and you have another edge that you want to bring in instead. He could also start this week if Frizzell's out, so that's something to note. Corey Waddell at 508k, he's gone up. Break even's not too super high, so you can hold this week. Now he's on the bench, or you can also sell. That's fine as well. That's for sure. Reed Marnie, the first hooker I would be looking to buy this week. If you need someone at that high price around that 700k, Reed's been very consistent and he has a terrific buy schedule. He's number one on the list. Damien Cook, if you want to go against the grain a little bit, he's hardly owned by anyone in the top 5,000. He's still averaging 49 for the year. Likely to get back to 80 minutes a week just with how many injuries they've got. And they played Mamazelis for minutes last week and Cook still played the 80. So I think he's still a good purchase. Unlikely to play Origin, but misses round 13. Jerry Marshall King's the other one. He plays 13, 16, 19, but misses 14. So if that's an issue for you, also just work out if it, whoever you're partnering your hooker with, that fits as well. Jerry Marshall King, solid, but I think he'll get outscored by the two I just mentioned. Isaiah Yeo, if you are needing a captaincy option and you don't want to pick up, you still don't have Hines, you don't want to pick up him, or you're worried about Hines' injury and you've got enough money to bring in a top tier gun, I think Isaiah Yeo is the guy that you can hold for the entirety of the year and not worry one bit. Obviously, he might have a rest somewhere in there, which might mean he misses 4 games, but when he does play, he seems to play massive minutes. Payne Haas is a little bit cheaper. His minutes will likely drop, though, in 14, 17, 20 after Origin. So I think that's where Isaiah Yeo has the benefit to that of Payne Haas. But they're both going to be great, both doing good things. Adam Fanua-Blake, I would select him over the other two just for the price difference and the availability for an extra game or two. And his minutes have been really good. He's scoring awesome over the last sort of months since he's upped his minutes again. He's gone 60 plus in each of the last 5 games that he's played, actually, which is awesome. So Adam Fanua-Blake, a terrific purchase. Jermaine Hopgood, a little bit worried, very worried actually, that he'll make Origin, which is great for him, but not great for your fantasy side. So if you're looking at Hopgood, that's the worry in your head. If you own him right now, awesome. If you don't, it's a bit of a risk. If you went for him, it could really pay off, but you could also wait until round 13 to see what happens with Jermaine Hopgood. Now Butcher, he's got the mid and edge duel, which is great, and looks like his spot is now safer in this side. Expect 50 to 55 from him on a regular basis, so either to stay at his price or go up in price, which will be good for Nat. And that's all we need to say. Terrell Mayo just thinks a hold. He's break even's low enough now, and he's going to play a pretty important role around 13. Likely to get 30 to 40 minutes over the next bunch of weeks. With Nafahu White being out, I'm not sure if he's going to come back into this side, but they could have the odd injury and stuff like that, and that could help him as well. Oregon Kaufusi, guys, we are going from hookers down through to wing fullback. Oregon Kaufusi at 555 is in a spot where if he can continue big minutes, I think he'll be a 45 guy. I just think there's some risk now that he's priced at 40 when there's other potential better buys that I'm going to target here, and you can make that selection if you want. Him, Hazleton. We got Max King at 648. Been scoring really well across the season. When he does get bigger minutes, anything 50 plus is where he usually goes well. He did have that couple of return games from his injured hand, but back to a 52-point effort there. And expect somewhere 45 to 50 on a regular basis for King with that lovely draw that they've got. 562k for James Fisher-Harris, priced at 40. When he gets big minutes there, over 50, he averages 47. Can that keep up? Does he go back to mid-40s as well? That's probably the only question, but he could be a solid one. Griffin Neem at 446, priced at 32. He definitely has the ability to sort of go 40 plus When he gets good minutes there, I've got him at over 40 minutes coming off the bench. So, expect at least that 47 minutes for him going forward. That's a 35. In the starting team, he seemed to have scored better the last couple of weeks, which is nice, with a 41 and a 58. He does have a starting game for 23 points last year, so you could definitely backfire a little bit, but it could also be a 40-point scorer and make you some money and do good. David Mwale, probably the least risky of the bunch just because of the price, and now that they have so many injuries, I think it's time to unleash him. He played big minutes last week with a 55-minute effort and got 43 points, so if he gets anywhere near the 50 minutes going forward, he has some of the most money to make in that mid-section at the moment. Ewan Aiken next. I've got him in obviously as the edge in the center. He's a terrific buy this week if you want to lock up that center spot with a top tier gun for the year. It looks like he's locked up that left edge with Lemuelu and Felice Kafusi sharing between the edge and obviously Felice in the middle there. So Aiken's a terrific buy this week if you need someone to cover the three main buys, and obviously has edge and center coverage and is a keeper. Luke Garner, I think it's probably a bit too much of a risk, but with the negative break even, we had to mention him after a 76 and an 81. Scott Sorensen returning maybe this week or next. Martin will be out for Origin, so Garner will be able to play big minutes in that one. So that's something to note, but I think it's a bit of a risk. Up to you though. Britton Nickera, I'd go for him at 659 if you want a clear edge that plays 13 and 14. He probably has another 50 to 70, 80k to make for Britain, and has done really well over the last 3 weeks with a 59, 58, and a 50. So good stuff there. Ryan Madison, I don't think is a buy. Obviously, clearly a hold. You just want to see how it works with him. And then Bryce Cartwright. Does Cartwright get back into the start very soon? That's it. Eli Katoa, if you want a top tier gun but not worried about round 13, Eli Katoa is your man as an easy replacement for John Bateman. That's for sure. He should hit that sort of 53 average for the season and hold that price, which would be good. Has some big games, has some lower games as well. Finette Furiaki there, so 477 for him. Break even in the mid-30s, it's not too bad. Yes, he'll play bench this week, so if you have enough edges, you can trade him, but just be aware that he'll play likely the 80 minutes in round 13 when Nanae is out. Hila Maluki, 436, definitely a risk if you wanted to go for him, a higher break even. You don't have to go for it this week. Expect somewhere in that 30 to 50 range. Could score a try against the Bunnies, but he's also up against Kolomatangi, so keep that in mind there as well. Likely on that side. I don't know if they moved last week. I can't remember. KO Weeks, the clear buy of the week at 339. A negative 12 break even. It is there. So not sure if you'll have the goals or if Rapana will, but as a half or a wing fullback, plays around 13 on the way up, should get to sort of 500 or so thousand over the next bunch of weeks. And yeah, it's a good purchase. Dylan Brown, if you want the gun half that plays around 13, 14, Dylan Brown is your man. Should be able to get you about a 50 odd average, like low 50s average, like where he is right now, even with Moses coming back. So it's probably a good one this week. Anywhere between that 50 to 70, and then slows down a little bit with these big scores. But if he can score a try or set one up or something like that, he'll continue to do well. Atkinson at 326. Little bit of risk around with Hines returning. He won't score as well, but expect sort of 30s while he's in the team. They got Trindle on there. I'm not sure if he's there just for cover. But yeah, it's all over the shop with the evidence has been delayed and stuff like that. So yeah, strange. Jack Cole, I think he's going to, every game that he play, he's going to score well around that 40 to 50, 40 odd mark type of mark, and will make some good money. We're unsure how long Brad Snyder's going to be out, but if we find out more information on that, then and he's out for sort of anywhere 4+ weeks, then Cole will be a great purchase. But again, do you need another half, or can you use Weeks and Atkinson and these types of guys? Sam Walker, obviously a nice half purchase as well, under 600k. He's on the way up, which is good. A couple of big scores in there, 90, 35, 54. Roosters are absolutely humming at the moment, and he's the goal kicker and the 7, so that's always going to help. So Sammy Walker could definitely do a good job for your teams if you buy him. Wishart feels like a bit of a risk when you've got Jack Cole and Weeks and Atkinson and these types of guys, so he's probably further down the list. Sean Johnson I've got as a hold, guys, so just be aware of that. He's out for 3 weeks with their bye, and then we'll be raring to go around 14. Tolu Kola, probably the best center purchase of the week that doesn't play around 13, that's for sure. These are the scores, 77, 110, 49, and 57 in the 4 games he's played fullback. 2 of them, the 49 and 57, were when they got smashed, and the other 2, they went on absolute tear and won those 42 to 24, 54 to 12. So that's the kind of range you can expect. I'd say anywhere between a 35 to that 110 against like some of the easier teams. But they do have a tough draw, and if you're worried about that, like myself, you could definitely hold off there. Blaze Talangi, a little bit of a risk, obviously, because he's likely to need to be traded out in round 14, also when Gutho comes back. But you can decide what you want to do. If you have lots of trades, I think it's worth it. If you don't, probably not. Jacob Kiraz at wing fullback and center, a guy that plays 13, 14, 16, 17, and then 20. He could be a guy that could really work for you and continue to score well. That right-hand side's been really nice with Stephen Crichton. He'll miss Stephen for a few games there, but still a really good situation for Kiraz at the moment, doing good things, averaging 44, priced at the same. I would pick him over Herbie Farnworth. At the moment, obviously, his buy schedule is good, but I have a couple of other Dolphins myself. If you're looking at Herbie and you like watching him play, then go for it. But expect sort of 30-odd to 55 would probably be the range. Bradman Best I have as a good chance of playing Origin, so keep that in mind. At 654, he had a tough start to the season, and he's been flying since. But he's at a price at 47, pretty high now. And he's in doubt for this weekend as well, so it's probably a no. Isaac Tungo is on the way down, price point. I think you can wait on him this week with that break even so high. He's not playing well enough. The last two games are some of the worst I've seen him play, and he had that sin bin, so hopefully he comes back and plays a lot better. But yeah, I definitely think you can wait. Bailey Simonson, 2 good weeks in a row for him, 49 and 60. If he continues that style of running with tackle breaks and offloads, then he'll be a guy that can hit a 40-odd average. But he could go back to some of his other efforts where he gets 20-odd and 30. But that's the nature of the beast being a winger. So dual position, plays in 13, 14, could be solid, could be left out. And then you got Dylan Edwards at 801. I think 50-50 to play Origin, so you can decide. He's the best wing fullback at the moment, averaging 57. If you want to jump on, awesome. If you're not too sure about the Origin likelihood, then maybe just hold off and make a decision in round 13. Scott Drinkwater, going on the way down in price at the moment. He's lost sort of 80k in the last few weeks. He was at 758 just a few weeks ago. Couple of low ones in there. The 58 stabilized him, but 28 in the weekend is lowest. I think it'll be much better against the Bunnies and the Tigers. Leave him out at your peril, but yeah, there's so many good options down there that could score the same as him for sure. At the moment at cheaper prices. And Dom Young at 556. If you want to jump on that roller coaster, you can. Obviously, he has a 15 and neg 12 in there, but his lowest score outside of that's 43. So he's been really good. And obviously his team is great also. So yeah, Dom Young, if you want to jump on him for Magic Round, could be a fun one. But against the Sharkies, how well is he going to go? That's the question. Greg Marzou at 459k. He's in a weird position. He's had that second try of the year with a 49. That was his best score by far. He scored the best two, 36 and 49 the last few weeks. He's definitely a risk. You could take it, but they also come up against Dogs, Melbourne, and then Penrith over the next few weeks. And you have, Crichton and Kiraz defending him this week. And then you've got, the right-hand side of Melbourne's not great, but still a good team. And then Panthers following that. So, yeah. Not sure if you want to buy on that note, but yeah, could definitely be an option. And then Latrell Mitchell to finish things out. If he's not going to play Origin, I can see a few people interested in potentially purchasing him. And if you do so, it's going to be a fun ride of angst and elation, that's for sure, with the types of points that he can put up, the amount of try numbers, the goal kicking, all of it. If Bunnies can start to play okay, they've got a couple of outside backs returning this week, then it could be a good little play going forward. But that's Latrell Mitchell, and that is the quick buy, hold, risk it, and sell for round 11. I wish you all the best of luck heading into Magic Round. If you don't watch any of the other videos and you just watch this one, you're still a legend. Thank you so much for being here. We'll catch you then.